And if I'm out with a woman and she's getting absolutely smashed on the first date, well, that's a deal breaker.
I really care about them and that I'm still very old-fashioned, so I make that clear up front.
And I personally have never been married. I would definitely like to give it a go.
But often with these sites, the first 2 or 3 questions involves, what are you looking for?
Good question, because when I was younger, in my early 30s, it was easy. It was easy to meet women, but I'm not out to be a player, and I have been that in the past.
Connected with so many people that were going through incredibly difficult experiences.
A lot of the women don't respond then.
And I connected with people who were quite disturbed, and I had to get away from very quickly.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to do anything wrong. So it does. I guess I feel like I'm definitely more picky now.
Maybe eHarmony is a bit different because you have to communicate more readily and more steadily.
If I find that a woman is sort of emotionally unavailable, that's a bit of a deal breaker.
So, for example, if there was a room for people who want to bonk themselves crazy, you wouldn't have to ask that question.
And that's not a bad thing.
But I never lost faith that one day I might meet someone who actually really liked me.
Is meeting a woman and honestly watering her dreams.
There's a room for people who are into the darker side of loving. You wouldn't have to ask that question.
Well, you've got to play games when you meet a woman. You know, there's all these games that have to be played. Just, cheesy pickup lines and that. And I just don't think it's in me. I want to be vulnerable around a woman. I want to meet a woman and be in a relationship and just be vulnerable.
Pathological liars. They live in an alternate universe where they make up these stories and they sound great and you want to believe it, but you have to keep your circle tight because, believe it or not, there's a thing called psychosis by association. You can actually take on people's perceptions and take it into yourself, and then you start believing, which is what we modern people call gaslighting. You start believing, but it's just not true. And how long are you going to play along with their little lies? But this one takes the cake. He played different characters and it was so much fun for a time. He was Old Man Indy, he was Uncle Chop Chop, he was even Giovanni, the European bloke. He was everything. But where does it stop being funny and comedic, and where does it become a personality disorder? I personally have had movie star crushes. I don't know, who would actually own up to that? I'm owning up to it because I am, doing this little social experiment. But I remember a few years ago, I got into Jake Gyllenhaal, okay? So I got into Jake. Funnily enough, in my Facebook DMs, I got a message. You won't believe this, from Jake Gyllenhaal. It wasn't him, don't worry. Could lead to delusions of grandiose, where I was thinking, oh my God, a movie star's got a crush on me. That is a quirk that might lead to various other delusions, which could cause issues in relationships further down the track. What about the change of heart? Oh God, that hurts. For 2 weeks they were into you, they were texting you every day, every hour of the day. And now, all of a sudden, you could hear a pinprick, radio silence, there's nothing there. Where have they gone? Maybe they've caught a ticket to ride on that ghosting train that everyone hears about. Easy come, easy go. Don't forget that. Or the credible liars who tell you what you want to hear. They sound perfect on paper. They sound great. They're telling you everything you want to hear because they know they're intuitive, know what would turn you on, and they want you to like them. But how true is it? Do they really feel that way?
I have a true love for theatre and a passion for theatre.
A lot of changes are happening in midlife for women. There's empty nest syndrome. There's what happened to my waistline syndrome.
I felt the need to go and sing to the ducks in the park.
So lost in other people's goals that I don't even know what my own goals are anymore.
Because the ducks seemed to be quite entertained by me. So in I went, and I ended up with the lead role in Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, there's so much passion in theatre. And we've talked about that already. Theatre is just so amazing, and I love going to the theatre. And it's this ancient, old art.
Your childhood wounds, which I go on about, are now laid bare for healing. So we clean up all the emotional mess.
The energy there, it's not like, watching The Idiot Box.
Exactly.
So much energy there. Yeah. And, you can connect with that.
We can actually set goals to actually, for the next 30, 40, next half of our lives. So,
I'm definitely afraid of being able to learn the lines and stuff like that, but whatever.
I think you'd be
and to reinvent themselves at midlife when everything seems to change.
Yeah.
to be able
Thank you.
to light up the world through the energy that comes out of you, and you have that.
I really love helping women. It's my mission to help as many women as possible.
Thank you.
The reason I'm feeling a level of attraction towards you is I sense your energy. It's quite beautiful.
And that's what when I first met you too, was that energy.
You know what? We're only here for a relatively short time, and we want to be here for a good time, and that's really my motto.
So kind, and your heart, you've got a real heart for people and a heart for your family, and that's quite beautiful. I love the conversation we had about kissing, because I actually believe that kissing is really important, and you obviously share that belief.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's again that transference of energy, but it's very sensual. It's very it's beautiful, passionate. But you've got to have the initial attraction first, which I guess we've kind of past that stage now.
I know, it's very strange and nice. So
It's very
I'm enjoying
strange.
every second of this.
No, same.
But I just think it's the hardest thing about dating is not walking in and going, oh, I need to go now. This isn't right, and you don't want to hurt anyone.
No, I know, because how many times we've been there? I've been there a few times, I'm sure you have.
I have, since, I started this journey, which is very new to me after years and years of marriage.
Yeah.
And I get so amazed when I can meet someone and feel something. It's so special and so rare.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That wasn't an act, that was real.
There's obviously a really big spark there, So I want to find out what happens with you guys in the future.
Breaking up and getting back together again, that's something that happens a lot, especially with online dating. You might move on quickly these days, but then you might come back to this other person. How damaging can that be?
If all you want is just a friend, yes, we were together, we didn't work out, but you know what? There was something about each other that we really liked. So, if we want to sort of hang out when there's nobody else to hang out with, be our plus one for each other, fine. But if it's always coming together and then that whole big turmoil thing happening, nothing's changed, breaking up, coming back together, that turmoil happening again, it's really destructive. And so, and again, if you want to sort of overcome any of that, you really need to actually do the work on yourself. You really need to do some personal development, finding out what those triggers are, finding out how to deal with them, healing the old childhood wounds, which is where a lot of that stuff comes from, we're sort of making decisions from our 5-year-old child unconsciously. We're not even aware of this, but we're actually making those decisions from, the inner child, and then, and making those decisions for our adult. And that really, really shouldn't be happening. It's about, healing yourself, healing whatever it is about yourself in order to go into a relationship as one whole person, another whole person, and as Adam said before, enriching each other's lives, make that whole synergy of coming together and not sort of dragging each other down, because that when you've got all this stuff going on and all of your wounds are triggered from your childhood, it's actually going to come out in a relationship, because relationships are the closest thing that you can actually have. You are so vulnerable. You are naked in front of each other. You have sex in front of with each other. You're living with each other. So that can actually trigger a whole lot of wounds. So in fact, relationships, if you're willing to do the work, are a really great vehicle for doing some healing and to move forward from there. The only thing is, though, that a lot of people don't know about how to do that. They don't even know to do it. It's like being that, you don't know what you don't know. So they blame your partner, or they repeat the patterns over again. And so, if it's continually tumultuous, back together, and back it away, then if you're not going to do anything about it, you're better off apart.
Well, I like what you said about, if you're friends and you're just going to be each other's buddy and plus one, that it's okay. But a lot of people keep falling into that makeup sex, that hot makeup sex. You're not even going to think about what the problem was anymore. You're just going to have sex and it feels great and you're back together again. But that's not really healing anything, is it?
No, it isn't. It's having a great time in the moment, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm telling you now. However, if it's just going to be destructive from then on, it's not worth it. It really isn't. It's time to do some work on yourself by seeing a coach or going to a counsellor or doing something, and getting out of your own way so that you can actually improve, mostly with the relationship with yourself. It's about the relationship with yourself, because if you love yourself and you honour yourself, and when you go into a relationship where they are the same, then it can only be enhancing. And it's about taking responsibility for yourself in a relationship as well. And that's the way that my husband and I live every day. I'm not saying it's perfect, because we do get triggered, of course. But you know what? We know that they're our triggers. It's not like your fault for this or your fault for that. We don't do that. We've sort of learned so much. We've grown so much. We don't do that. And it's when you're doing that, then you need to actually take a step back and have a look at yourself. And as I always say to my clients, so it's like fall in love with yourself first.